Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news, and we've got some big news for you as well. Check it out through the QR code. We'll talk about that in a moment though. What's going on with Manchester United? Obviously won last night, Palace on Sunday, but transfer window closes on Monday. So where are Man United? Well, it looks like Garnacho is staying. Great. Also, could Casemiro still be heading out the door? Could Marcus Rashford be heading out the door? What is happening with Tell? Are Rashford and Casemiro blocking that deal? Yes. Man United need to get players out to get players in. Don't believe this nonsense that Man United don't need to move anybody on to get players in. This has been what the Ineos are all about. So we'll talk about that as well. Also, very interesting. Can I finally say thank you for an incompetent mainstream for finally delivering what we've been talking about for weeks, months. Joel Glazer still involved in running the football club. Manchester Evening News, finally somebody pulls their finger out their arse and starts talking about how Manchester United are being run. And shame on those people who try and spin and push their propaganda that Ineos are running the football club. They're going to take over it all. Ineos are doing this. Ineos are doing that. The Glazers are there. The Glazers are running things. And so is Joel Glazer. We'll talk about that as well. Loads to get into, but it's finally here. It should have happened at Christmas. Apologies for that. 10 years of the United Stand this year. 2 million subscribers, amazing community. Our 10-year show is going back on the road and it's going to be on the 19th of March in Dublin. Get your tickets now. It's out for public consumption. Members had a chance yesterday. You can all get your tickets now. Get them while you can. It's in Dublin. It's smack in the middle of Dublin. It's in Temple Bar. It's at the Olympia Theatre. It's a great venue. It's going to be a great night. We've got loads of things lined up. Regular United Stand people will be there. Guests will be there as well. But it's going to be a fantastic show, a celebration of this amazing community, and I'm sure you'll absolutely love it in an amazing city as well. It's really important that it is in Dublin, but only those in the show will understand why. Get your tickets now while you can. They'll go very quickly. We've done 3 shows in Dublin before. It's always a great crowd. Links in the description or scan the QR code. Get them now. Fantastic. Really excited about that. Okay, let's get on with the show. So where are Manchester United in these last few days of this Manchester United transfer window? Well, look, there is a lot to be said about what is actually going on. Literally, Pletty Goal in the last couple of hours has said that Casemiro's departure remains a realistic scenario until deadline day. Various markets are being explored. Concrete talks with interested clubs are ongoing. Roma still exploring a deal to sign Casemiro. And I think that it's fair to say that that's a similar situation with Marcus Rashford. Now, this morning, a lot of people are still peddling the Matis Tell deal. The cold, harsh facts on this are that Man United are factually in financial trouble. This is why at the start of the window, those stories were coming out from credible journalists like Ornstein and Romano about Man United's willingness to sell Mainu if a decent offer came in. Reluctant, but willing. That is why for all month we've had the same story about Garnacho. Willing, reluctant, but willing to sell Garnacho if a good offer comes in. Football clubs, especially Manchester United, aren't publicly putting it out there that they're willing to sell Mainu or Garnacho reluctantly unless they're desperate for money. And we are desperate for money. So this theory that Man United are going to sign Tell without removing Casemiro or Rashford is fantasy. And some people are still peddling it. And some people are still thinking it's true. The bottom line is Marcus Rashford and Casemiro are blocking Man United even competing for Tell at this moment because they just cannot, quite rightly, have £700,000 worth of wages a week sat there, not involved till May. I mean, 700 grand a week is 1.5 million, well, just under 1.5. It's nearly 3 million a month. In 4 months, that's 12 million in wages on players that you don't want to use. That 12 million gets you Tell on loan. Piece of piss. Now, people are saying sack them. Look, they've got contracts. I mean, I'm not literally saying that Rashford and Casemiro are stood outside Carrington, you know, arm in arm, you know, not letting Tell in. They're not blocking the transfer in that sense, but them being at the football club, the wages they are on, it blocks Man United. It's the typical sell to buy. We saw it with McTominay and Ugarte. Ugarte couldn't come in until McTominay went. We saw it with Wan-Bissaka and Mazraoui and De Ligt. Mazraoui and De Ligt couldn't come in until Wan-Bissaka went. And look, there are patterns. We are still learning about Ineos's ownership. We are still learning about the relationship they have with the Glazers. We're still learning about Amrim. But the reality is, when it comes to transfers, we know we need to sell to buy, and all the hints are there. We're trying to sell Mainu and Garnacho if we have to. We're trying to move Rashford and Casemiro on as a priority. But none of those things have happened. So we don't have the financial manoeuvrability to go, oh, sod it, let's just go and do 10 million of a loan deal with Bayern Munich. We can't do it. So absolutely, this morning, Tell is in contract with Spurs. They put an offer on the table. He's not signed it because he's probably got a brain and he's thinking, why do I want a career without trophies? Do I want to be in a team that's ridiculously inconsistent? So I think that, look, there is an opportunity with Tell, but there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. You've got Watkins, Arsenal. You've got Chelsea there looking around at all sorts of stuff. You've got Manchester United, Tell, loan, Bayern, would work, but Man United haven't got the money to do it. So I'd say in relation to Tell, oh, that's a good coffee. I'd say in relation to Tell, time is the key. If the longer he doesn't sign for somebody else, the more chance we've got. But we've got to manoeuvre people out for that to happen. And Casemiro and Rashford, at the moment, what are the chances that both of those players are gone come Monday evening? I think there is a chance. But I tell you what, throw an egg in the air and see if you can catch it or it smashes on your head. I don't know. We want to. Whether we will, I don't know. And I think that with Rashford and Casemiro, it could be that we're still talking about this on Monday, in which case it gets very, very desperate. I mean, I don't know why we're in this situation. I really, really don't. I do, but I don't. I know that it's difficult to get rid of players, but we're talking about loan deals here. We're not talking about selling them. We're talking about loan deals. We're talking about loan deals where we're going to pay half their wages. If I was somebody at Man United, I'd be sat in that boardroom going, look, we need to have a big chat in February because that has been an absolute mess up. Dry January is when you give something up. We gave up selling our players. Dry January, no one's bloody interested. I need some bloody lube. What's going on? It's incredible that you'd think there might be people who want to buy Casemiro and buy Marcus Rashford. We can't loan them out paying half their wages. I genuinely am not ripping the piss out of the players. I don't understand why somebody wouldn't want to loan Marcus Rashford on 150 grand a week. I don't get it. There must be something going on behind the scenes, either reluctance from Rashford's camp to do a deal or a bigger picture with Rashford where teams are looking at him and going, I don't know whether we want him. And there are a lot of theories out there. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There are a lot of rumours out there. But what could be going on with Rashford and Casemiro that makes clubs go, we don't even fancy that on a loan at half the wages? And maybe it's Rashford wanting Barcelona. Maybe it's Casemiro not wanting to go to Saudi. I don't know. But the failure to move them on this late in the window worries me because opportunities will be missed. There's going to be so many opportunities in this transfer market over the next 4 days. And we aren't in a position to do anything about them. In fact, talking about Dorgu is in the Lecce squad apparently tonight and will do his medical over the weekend. And I'm sort of sat there again going, this is going to go wrong at some point. This whole farewell tour bullshit's going to go wrong. We've done it before. We did it with Bruno. And I remember I was watching the Sporting game going, please don't get injured. What is Dorgu doing playing a bloody game for Lecce tonight? What the fuck is that about? I mean, this is professional football. It's not school sports day. It's professional football. If he breaks his leg tonight, we haven't got a left back and we've got nowhere to go. This is high-end football. And we are not... And some people in the chat going, it's not that deep. It is if he breaks his leg. Footballer breaks leg on football pitch. Footballer does knee on football pitch. Footballer pulls hamstring on football. These things happen on a football pitch. And I'm like, it won't happen. I'm sure it won't happen. But why run the risk? If it did happen, we haven't got a left back. Again. So if he plays, I know, but I don't know why. I don't know why we've had the delay on it, is what I'm saying. But look, anyway, the Dorgu deal I'm sure will happen. I digress. The point is, can we do anything more than Dorgu? That's what got me thinking about that. And there is a real opportunity there with that Tell. And you look at Man United last night, and I was very impressed with Garnacho. Ahmad's had a very good season. Mainu did very well there. Bruno's doing better. Maybe Mason Mount comes back from injury. Xerxes not been too bad. I'm still hopeful of Rasmus. But you're telling me that adding Tell to that front three doesn't improve us between now and the end of the season? Of course it does. It'd be a very good loan signing, and I'd love it to happen. It doesn't appear like anything else is lined up as well. So, I mean, I don't know whether this is best case scenario. Best case scenario, Rashford, Casemiro go, Dorgu deal gets done. That could be it. But there's a lot of other permutations. Tell comes in, Dorgu comes in, Casemiro and Rashford go. Rashford and Casemiro stay, Dorgu comes in. Dorgu comes in, Garnacho gets sold, Rashford and Casemiro stay. Like, there's still a lot up for grabs in these last few windows, and it is chaotic. There is no doubt about it, and it's hard to predict at the moment. But removing Rashford and Casemiro, I just find it incredible that we haven't done it. And I know Casemiro came on yesterday, but so what? You know, how far behind is he on that? You know, if someone's going to tell me about the volume, could you bloody do it at the start? Like, talking about it 10 minutes in, it's getting really boring. I'm going to block the word volume. Man U at 10 was great, but Palace will be more difficult. If he's good, if he is good to Hove at our heart. If he's not, then don't jump on him. Keep it amber, says Andy Atherton. Okay. George, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Tristan's been a member for 22 months. That's how we got the fee down, says Rory C. What, by letting him play? These players are radioactive. Rashford's attitude, says Rohan. Morning, Mark. I've just got tickets for the show, says Ryan. Well, we'll see you there. Have they asked them to take a 50% pay cut, says Keel. And what a journey. Been in here since 1,000 subs, says Bradley. Jurassic Park fam. Sitting here in Adelaide, loving life. Bourbon's flowing. FC24 cranking up. Sounds great, Bradley. Enjoy your day. Hi, Mark. My other half got me a membership. Tickets in Dublin and your book for my birthday. Looking forward to the show. That's a super member, David. Well done. I hate how the press conferences are always about Rashford. Can't see Amrim is getting visibly annoyed by it, says Rash. He should do what Graham Potter did. Graham Potter literally said in his interview for West Ham yesterday, you've asked me this question 3 weeks ago and it doesn't get any different. Can you ask me a different question? Amrim should just do it. If Mainu is a 10, we should keep Casemiro or be short, says Tech. No, because you've got Bruno playing there, haven't you? You've got Bruno, Casemiro, Agate, Casemiro. I don't think we need him. Casemiro was booed again in front of the hotel, says FKX, and wouldn't put it past Ineos to fake like they're selling Garnacho to then get praise for keeping him like a new signing, says El President. Should go for Son for experience up front, says John Malloy. I tell you what, it's worth mentioning this because it is a news show. I mean, I don't call it news. What I call it is slow sports news and a mainstream media that might finally be getting a bit of balls and doing some journalistic work. So this morning, let me just read it out, just so I get it word for word. This morning in the Manchester Evening News, it basically said that I don't know where did I see it? Where did I see it? That Joel Glazer is involved with Manchester United. Here it is. Got it. So Manchester Evening News. Joel Glazer is still actively involved in United's transfer plans. He retains the right to sign off and veto deals and has been more hands-on during the club's negotiations in the transfer window. So, I mean, some of you are going to react to that really badly because obviously you read and look at other things and you don't get that truth. There are people out there that I don't know. I don't know what it is about Ineos that make them get a stiffy, but they just cannot accept that the Glazers still run the football club. They just cannot accept that the Glazers have fucked the football club for 20 years and will still try and do it for another 10, 20 years again. They cannot accept that 28% doesn't beat 50%. And they cannot accept that Joel Glazer has been day-to-day running this football club for the last 10 years. And they cannot accept that that is still happening. And the reason that it doesn't get spoken about enough is because nobody who is an actual journalist around Man United wants to do journalism. They want to do client journalism where they take information from the club and put it out as sort of like hired help. They don't actually do any investigative journalism to scrutinise what is really going on at the football club. Now, we have been talking about this for a long, long time. Joel Glazer hasn't gone anywhere. He was basically, before Ineos came in, you speak to anybody who works at Man United and they'd say Joel Glazer's involved in anything and everything. You know, wouldn't be surprised. He was so involved, if you wanted to buy toilet roll for the Red Cafe, he'd have to sign it off. Like, really hands-on. That hasn't changed. He enjoys being hands-on at Man United. It's not going to change, and it hasn't changed. So it's good that it's now coming in from mainstream outlets, because when we're talking about it, people go, oh, you just don't like the Glazers. But it's true. The Glazers own the football club. They own the football club. This regeneration and a new stadium, it's not Sir Jim's project. The Glazers will own half of it. Sir Jim will own 28% of it. They're in it together. And the Glazers have more power than Sir Jim. And there is no pathway to full ownership either. There's this myth that Ineos run Man United and it's their football club. And that's just very clever marketing from the Glazers, who don't want the heat. The Glazers just want to be left alone. They don't want the PR. They don't want the scrutiny. So they've basically got somebody in who is very ambitious, but also wants the vanity project of this is my project. And the Glazers just sit there running things without any scrutiny. And that's what's going on. Joel Glazer, we were told that Ineos had total control of the football side. They don't. It was a lie. They don't have total control of the football side. They just don't. And Joel Glazer is there, actively involved, vetoing and signing off transfers. And that's what's been going on for 12 months. And that's what's going to go on for the next 12 months. I liked the summer transfer window. I liked the signing of Dorgu. I liked the signing of Bruno. Ineos weren't here then. I liked the signing of Luke Shaw. Ineos weren't here then. I liked winning the Champions League in 2008. Ineos weren't there then. In life, not everything is bad and not everything is good. But with the Glazers, most of what they've done to this football club is horrific. They're still here. They're still making decisions. And people just need... I'm going to leave it there. People just need that in their head. It's not a popularity contest. It's just people need to understand, and you know it and I know it, there are people out there who think Ineos run Man United. They don't. They run it with the Glazers, and the Glazers have the final say. That's how it works. We are still the same football club that people were protesting about a Super League for. We are still the same football club that was plunged into debt and turmoil by the same people that are running the football club now. The same people that destroyed Old Trafford and let it run and rot and rust are still there. And I've known this for a long time. You've known it for a long time. But it's good that the journalistic world are now doing their fucking job and reporting what is actually happening. Joel Glazer is still there day to day. He has a veto on Sir Jim. If Sir Jim Radcliffe says, let's sell Rashford, Joel Glazer has a veto to say no. If Sir Jim Radcliffe says, let's loan in Tal, Joel Glazer's got a veto to say no. He's actively involved. Leave it. That's all it is. It's an education piece. Darren Fisher, welcome to the Members Club. Our President J says, without you, Mark, we wouldn't know what's really going on. You've been saying that the Glazers were still in ultimate control since the beginning. Yeah, and I was called a conspiracy theorist. I was called a liar, you know, all sorts of stuff. But it's just so hard to get people to actually report. So I'll give Manchester Evening News the credit there to actually getting it out there. I really hope we can get hold of keep up. Simran says, I really hope we can hold on to Garnacho now. There's no way an ambitious club would let go of a player like that. I had my say on this last night, Simran. I don't know. Look, let's be honest and let's take it all. Let's take it all as a fan base and not get individualistic here. Am I right in saying that 2 weeks ago people were saying get rid of Garnacho? Am I right in a lot of them people are now saying keep Garnacho? Am I right that a week ago people were saying Mainoo's not that good, he's overrated? Am I right that some of the same people are saying he's brilliant at number 10, he's going to be world class? We have a very flippant fan base that flips from one opinion to the other. And that's fine, but I think at your very core, you should have principles because they provide consistency. I don't think it's good to be flipping from one opinion to another constantly, and there are people out there who do that. you can do it on certain things, but I think you have to have core principles. And those core principles will stop you from flipping on certain things. My core principle is something I've learned from a kid, watching videos with my granddad about the Busby Babes and Duncan Edwards. We develop young talent. We don't sell our young talent until we've developed it to its potential. That's a principle. We should never, ever cross that line. You can sell Elanga, you can sell Jesse Lingard, you can sell Scott McTominay because you know they've reached their potential at Manchester United and a decision is there to be made. You cannot do it with Garnacho and Mainu because they haven't reached their potential. You're selling potential, and that we should never do that as a football club. That's a core principle. So when I've been saying all month, we can't sell Mainu, we can't sell Garnacho, I don't care what the price is, that's a core principle, and I won't flip on it. I won't flip on it because he has a bad game or a good game. It's just a core principle. But it's good that those flippers are back where we need them, which is we cannot sell Garnacho because he's playing well at the moment, but we shouldn't be selling him in anyway. In a year's time, if Garnacho flatlines and that's his talent, and I think it's worth cashing in, good. But never sell a player who's on a trajectory path because that's not what we are. Ray says, spot on, Mark. This community's been saying for a long time Joel was still making decisions. I can't believe people didn't think he was. Bayern will only accept a loan plus obligation at 50 million, says Andy Atherton. And I tell you what, it sort of feeds into a few things as well. I know that there are people out there that get information from the Glazers. And I've said it for years. And since Ineos have come in, they've been like very pro Ineos. And my theory is they're pro Ineos because they're still getting stuff from the Glazers. So of course they're going to be pro Ineos because Glazers want Ineos to be the front of them. So those people who get information from the Glazers are obviously going to be pro Ineos and say Ineos are running the shop because that's what the Glazers want you to believe. If I'm a complete shithouse and I'm destroying my local village and then I get a new mayor in, but I'm controlling the mayor, I'm going to be putting it out there. The mayor's in charge. The mayor's in charge because then I can keep destroying it, but someone else is the front. And that, I've always felt that. I just thought the numbers don't make sense. Oh, the Glazers, Joel Glazer, who runs the club, is going to take a step back and let Sir Jim run it on 28%. No, absolutely not. Haven't heard Stiffy in a while, so Sticks. Only way to get Glazers out is to outlive them, says La Familia. They've probably got kids, though. Allowing Dorgu to play last night is a joke, says Harvey Spuck. I think he's playing tonight, mate. I'm not 100% sure. They're in the walls, says Everyday Gamer. Mark, can you shout out my mate Alfie? His 15th birthday today, and he loves and watches all of your content. Thank you, Kenzo. Shout out to Alfie. Happy birthday. La Familia says, so you can block words. No wonder I can't send super chats. Yeah, of course we can block bloody words. If you had a free-for-all, imagine it. Patrick Lynch, good morning, Patrick, says, I partly believe that Rashford and Casemiro are reluctant to leave because if they do, they've got to prove themselves again. It's easier to stay put and blame others for not getting a move. And Liam says, thoughts on sending Rashford on loan on an unattractive wage split where we pay half or even majority of his wages, considering if he doesn't go on loan, we'll probably never rid him of his wage. Thank you very much, Liam. I think that Jamie Carragher, welcome to the Members Club. Hi, Goldie from India, says Yo-Yo. I think that with regards to Darren Fisher, welcome to the Members Club as well. I think with regards to the Rashford situation, you can really, somebody said it earlier, you can really detect the frustration of Ruben Amorim having to deal with this week in, week out. And that is a massive issue. Of course it is. There is no disputing it. But if it's over on Monday, and it won't ever be over really, because if he scores a goal for Barcelona, they'll still keep asking him. I mean, you can't ban journalists from answering questions, but I wish we bloody could because I'm bored. I don't think they're very good at it. But if Rashford stays, it will definitely be worse. Definitely be worse. So I think it's above everything, you've always got to think of the individual. So let's think about Rashford for a moment. Is it better for him to leave Manchester United? Absolutely, yes. And even he says he wants a fresh challenge. So let's start from there. Good, okay. Is it better for Man United that he goes? Yes. Is it better for Amrim that he goes? Yes. Amrim is trying to build something and doesn't have the time to keep dealing with this PR journey of what's happening with Marcus Rashford. And you know what? The media feed into something that we criticise, Player FC. I know some of you get quite agitated about Player FC because you're like, am I Player FC if I like a player? You're not necessarily, but Player FC does exist. It's people who, no matter how shit a player is, or how badly they behave, or how they shit on the football club. I mean, look, some people started doing Sancho watch when he went to Chelsea because they were Player FC. Apparently they support Man United, but they were doing Sancho watch because they love that player. That's Player FC. It can be toxic, it can be a positive, but that's Player FC. I think with regards to the media, and we probably don't say it enough, they are the biggest Player FC, because when they're asking 4 or 5 questions in an interview where we've got a 19-year-old doing his first interview and all they want to talk about is Rashford, that's a Player FC journalism. And United suffer from it more than any other club. And it's happened for years, and it's going to keep happening. So it's absolutely imperative that United move Rashford on. I just don't know. I don't know whether it's going to happen. I really, really don't. Talking about Player FC, by the way, I was talking about this last night. It did make me laugh. I was looking at the comments this morning, and there was a comment there. I think it's still there. Goldbridge is so up Rasmus's arse. Gives him a 6, and he was absolutely shit. When's this bias going to stop? I was talking about this on the watch-along last night. I don't know what goes on outside our community because I don't have the time, and I've been doing this for 10 years now, and for the last 5, there's just so many people trying to build a career in this industry, and respect to them, but some of them just think they're going to build a career by spreading lies and having a pop at me and this channel. And I presume there's stuff going on there about, oh, Goldbridge had an interview with Rasmus, that's why he protects him. But as a community, we know that's not true. That interview was over a year ago. I think there's a player there. At the moment, it's hard to see. But I gave him a 5 yesterday. I gave him a 4 the week before. I gave him a 4 the week before that. And I gave him a 5 the week before that. So that's poor, very poor. Like, he's not playing well. He's been playing badly. So that's not Player FC. I did it with Martial when I liked Martial. I've done it with Bruno and I like Bruno. That's not Player FC. That's the opposite of Player FC. That's Manchester United FC. I'm a Man United fan. I put the club first. I don't mask bad performances from players that I like. So, yeah, but it just made me laugh that apparently I gave him a 6. I think I got Bruno's score wrong last night, by the way. I was reading the chat there, and I did knock it up to a 6.5, actually. But I was watching the highlights back last night, and I thought, you know what? Is Bruno becoming one of those players that we sometimes miss his performance? Because I watched it back, and I was like, he was involved in quite a lot. I'm definitely happy with a 6.5. There's an argument that you could knock him up to a 7, but some people are giving him a 5. I don't think Bruno played badly last night at all. Manchester, a bit of breaking news coming in from Plettigol. Man United have made contact with Bayern regarding a loan deal for Tell. They are definitely in the race. Well, look, it's all about moving players out. Simply, this is what it is. We're not out of the race, and there is a chance, but there isn't a chance. If we've got Rashford and Casemiro on Tuesday, we can't do that. We just can't. Like, factually, we can't get Tell in, keep Garnacho, keep Rashford, and keep Casemiro. Now, we've got to keep Garnacho. So, Rashford or Casemiro have got to go. If one of them go, we can do the Tell deal. Definitely. If 2 of them go, 100%. On a loan. But it simply comes down to, I don't know what Tell's wages are, but they're not going to be stupid at 19 at Bayern Munich. So his wages will be massively less than Casemiro or Rashford. A loan deal to Bayern could be 5 million, could be 7 million, could be 3 million. But do the maths. If you loan Rashford out and pay half his wages, 150 grand a week saving is 600 grand a month. Times 5 is 3 million. That 3 million is going to help you a lot in relation to covering off Tell's wages and a bit of the loan fee. Also, you could project a little bit if we qualify for the Champions League by winning the Europa League, not only is that money that we get from the Europa League, but it's also a guaranteed 80 million coming in next year from the Champions League. So it's all about manoeuvring money around. I'm not actually convinced. I'd have to look at the books and I won't be allowed. I'm not actually convinced there's not a way that we could get Tel even if Rashford and Casemiro and Garnacho stay. But knowing the way Ineos work, they will want players out before they bring players in. Scott Page says, I can see improvements in certain aspects of our game. The fact of the matter is we need as fans to be patient. We've got a gem in Amrim, Mainu as 10, says Scott Page. Mainu at number 10, I completely agree with the comment that somebody said that we've got to be really careful that we don't overreact here. I thought he played really, really well last night, but if he had a bad game there against Palace, everyone would flip again. There's people out there who are obsessed with, what's the word? I'm Right FC. This is different to Player FC. I'm Right FC, again, doesn't put Man United first. It puts individualism first. Like, they'll make a decision about somebody and they're right. And I've seen people going, Mainu's a 10, he's not anything else. Mainu's a 10, he's not anything else. And I'm like, he's not a 10. He's not a 6. He's not an 8. He's 19. He's 19. No player at 19 with the skills that he's got is a definitive 10. And why would you pigeonhole him? His best position at the moment might be number 10, but there ain't no way that Kobbie Mainoo is just going to exclusively be a number 10. He's going to get bigger, he's going to get more physical, he's going to get better. Look at De Bruyne. De Bruyne is a 10, can easily play as an 8. Look at Bruno, is a 10, he's now playing sometimes as a 6 and as an 8. Lampard was the same, Gerrard was the same. Like, these players, if they're going to hit the potential we think they've got, and I think Mainoo's got loads of potential, you don't pigeonhole him as a 10. The reason I say that is because, without doubt, I'd be playing him as a 10 against Palace and Leicester and everybody else. But if he had a bad game, it doesn't mean he's not a 10. And because he's playing there, it doesn't mean he's not going to be an 8 or a 6. Like, he's only 19. He's got immense capability and potential. I like him in the 10 because the way, well, we spoke about it last night, I'm not going to repeat it, but the movement, the close ball control, gets into really good positions. But just be wary that flip-flop element of our fan base, who were calling him shit last week and are now saying he's the best thing since Zidane, if he has a bad game against Palace, they'll be calling him shit again. And the whole point of young players is the roller coaster of up and down that you're always going to get. There will be ups, there will be downs. But I think with Mainoo, the only number that matters is 19. I really wouldn't be saying he's going to be this, he's going to be that. I think in 2 years' time, he could be something different. Paul Scholes at 21, we all thought was a striker. That's where he predominantly played. Nobody would have predicted that he was going to be playing in a midfield 2. And in a midfield 3, you can have a sitter, a box-to-box, and an attacker. In Scholes' day, you were a midfield 2. There was no, I'll do the defending and you'll do the attacking. You had to bloody defend. So Scholes is always a very interesting one for me. Legend, came from the youth, started off as, is he going to be a striker? I didn't think he was going to make it as a striker, and then he became this midfielder, which was just incredible. Morning, Mark. Talking of players leaving, what do you think the plan will be without Mount in the summer? With Mount in the summer, Amrim likes him, but his wages are PSR drained, says James. I think Mason Mount is it's a great question actually. Mason Mount will stay at Man United for the next while. We can't sell him because there's no buyer. Amrim does like him. And he has had horrific injuries. So I think that very similarly to Luke Shaw, they're either going to stay injured forever and then we'll just never renew their contract, or they'll gradually get back but can't stay fit and we'll have to loan them, or they'll get back, stay fit, and we'll use them. And they're the three scenarios. But there is no sale. There's no sale here. It will be for the length of their contract. They'll come back and we'll use them. They'll come back every now and again and we'll probably loan them, or they'll just keep getting injured and we won't use them. There'll be no sale with these players because where's the buyer? If people don't want a fit Casemiro and a fit Rashford, why are people going to want injury-prone Shaw and Mount? They're just mistakes. If they stay injured, they're very expensive mistakes that we would just have to put up with. But there's no resale value with those, I can't see. Because if they... To be resold, they'd have to stay fit. But if they stayed fit, we'd use them. So I don't see a sale. There is an account that every game they post a cropped screenshot from an old game and post you gave a higher score, says Glenn. Oh, mate. These people are so thick. These people are really thick. I know who you're talking about. I saw it about 6 months ago. They basically take an old player ratings of mine where Rasmus has had a good game and I give him a high score, and then they tweet it. But this is a positive for anybody who wants to be a politician or, you know, get votes. There are a lot of thick people out there that won't check things. And in the world of AI, it's incredible, but you could literally put a cropped video of me giving Rasmus man of the match in a game where he got man of the match and say, I can't believe Goldbridge gave Rasmus man of the match against FCSB. And in the replies, people will believe it. They will. That's how gullible and stupid some people actually are. Fair play to the people cropping it. You know, you've got your interaction, but how do people see something and not check it? I saw something today. My mate sent it me. I don't know whether you get these clips as well. I'm going to talk about it on the next Driving with Goldbridge. He sent it me, and it's like how to survive a bear attack using just jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, and the comments, there's thousands of them actually debating it. I'm like, it's a load of shit. As if an angry bear attacks you, as if you're going to go, let me just, hold on a minute, I've got this gun. But I saw an article once about how to kill a bear with just jiu-jitsu. So let's give it a try. It's incredible how stupid some people are. And it's incredible how people don't check information. I know you're all intelligent and I'm intelligent. I check information. But some people will literally see something and go, that must be true. It's incredible. Could you beat a bear with jiu-jitsu, Mark? That's the real question. Probably could. One punch. No, I wouldn't even. Yeah, please don't try and beat a bear with jiu-jitsu. If that's all you've got, rest in peace, and not the bear. I can see improvement in certain aspects of our game. That the fact of the matter is, we need as fans to be patient. We got a gem in Amarin. We've done that one from Scott Page as well. Andres says Rashford's a disgrace. Born and raised Man United, let us down. Says Andres. Andy Atherton says, will Mark sign a new deal? As a community, we request that Mark signs a deal to stay until we win the Premier League. As a community, we're 100% committed, so will you sign the deal? No pressure. I've always said I wouldn't want to stop doing the United stand until Man United have won the league, but I don't want to be doing this when I'm 90, if I make 90, and I can't guarantee you we're ever going to win the Premier League. So, Dino says, what's your take on Xavi Simons going for 81 million euros? Surely Garnacho is worth around that, if not more. Mate, absolutely spot on. Great comment. I mean, this is the great thing about this community. You think you've got everything covered, and then somebody will chuck in a really good point. Yeah, Xavi Simons going to Leipzig for 81 million euros. I'm sorry. I think Xavi Simons is a little bit overhyped. I think he's another hipster name. If he was as good as everybody thinks he is, he wouldn't just be playing for RB Leipzig. And yet, he's still going for 81 million euros. So we've got a player that's actually playing in the best league in the world, and we're looking to sell him for 60. It's a joke. So whether you think Garnacho's overhyped or not, he's definitely worth more than £60 million. Chuck Norris would batter the bear, says Raz. And United fans really need to have more patience, says Jose. Thank you, James KV. Spoke about Mason Mount as well. It's 50 million with 30 million in add-ons. Some of those are meant to be really tough add-ons, says Robbie. Yeah, but that's what I mean. If Man United sold Garnacho for 60 million with another 30 million in add-ons, achievable add-ons or not, I think he would hit them. So we'd still be making 90 million. I don't expect anybody in the modern day to be handing out 80 million. But this is what I mean. We can't undervalue people. John says, headlock the bear, game over. The bear chat is taking over the chat here. We have got an Amarim press conference for the Palace game that is coming out at about 1:30. We really should play a little bit of a game of how many questions he will be asked about Marcus Rashford in that. I mean, I'm hoping 0, but part of me thinks at least 1 will be asked, even though he got multiple questions about it in the press conference for the FCSB game. Do you think anything will happen today, Mark? There'll be an 8 o'clock show tonight. There'll be a press conference reaction, but I don't know. What I do know is, I was talking to Robbie this morning for That's Football, and we were talking about Arsenal and stuff. What I do know is there's a lot going on in the transfer window, and there are multiple conversations going on. Man United are desperately trying to make things happen. They desperately trying to get Casemiro and Rashford out, and there's a lot of conversations going on. Obviously, both those players have got their own agents, but Man United are trying to generate interest as well. This is something that United have had to do for years, and it's worrying because you have a player that's not that reluctant to go, that's quite reluctant to go, so the club has to do the heavy lifting. Ideally, you want a player that wants to go, and they're doing it all. Like if you look at the Ollie Watkins situation, Villa don't want to sell Ollie Watkins, but Ollie Watkins' agent is talking to Arsenal. They're doing all the heavy lifting. They've just got to convince Villa. That's the way you want it to be. But with this situation, Man United are even getting involved trying to generate interest around Rashford and Casemiro. So there's a lot going on. There's also a lot going on with other clubs. We mentioned Arsenal there, Chelsea. So it's almost like opening a beehive. You might get some honey, you might get stung. And how chaotic it is, I still do worry about Garnacho, even though it would be ridiculous to sell him. I mean, I can't think of a worse sale since probably Ronaldo. And I'm not comparing Ronaldo to Garnacho, but when was the last time we sold somebody that we didn't want to sell? I can't remember. I can't think of the last time we sold somebody that the fans don't want to sell. And it literally just played really well in his last game as well. It's all kinds of wrong, but that could still happen in this chaotic last few days. I'm hoping we move Rashford and Casemiro out and we get Tellin on loan. I'd like to see that. I think that would set us up in a right positive way. And that's what should be being delivered by Ineos, by the way. They should be delivering Tell on loan and Rashford and Casemiro out. And that wouldn't be a bad transfer window. 2 in, 2 out. If you'd said to me at the start of the transfer window, Dorgu in on permanent, Tell in on loan, Rashford and Casemiro and Anthony out, I'd have said, yes, well done. And sometimes that happens with United. In fact, it always happens with United. The end product actually reads quite well. It's the journey there. Like, if you look at last summer, the end product of who left and who came in was quite good. But the frustration was how late we were doing our business and how 3 or 4 players weren't even ready for the start of the season. So, again, I'd say that this transfer window could still be quite a good January transfer window. But yes, yet again, it's had its obstacles and delays. Mark, you should clip up your player ratings like your best bits video. Will make it easier for people to fact check the scores, says Pablo. Would it be much harder now to get new owners since we have Ineos to deal with, says Jabbo. Mate, I'm not clipping up anything. The great thing about people clipping our content is even if it's lies and bullshit, it's still free promotion. We've never paid 1 pence of advertising the United Stand from day one. And now it's the biggest and best community in the world. So people keep clipping it. What these haters don't realise is that it's burning them. It's hurting them. And they're giving us free promotion. And as many people say, all publicity is good publicity. So let them keep doing it. Mark, ain't no one paying Marcus's wages, but equally Osimhen ain't going back to Napoli. I know he already loan committed, but perhaps a loan swap where we still pay Rashi's wages and they pay Osimhen, says GC. I can't see it, mate. I can't see that happening. Would it, not this late in the window. Would it be much harder now to get new owners since we've have Ineos to deal with? We're not getting new owners, Jabbo. Any talk of new owners, that's gone. That chance is definitely gone. Okay, we're back at 1:30 with the press conference reaction. Obviously, if anything else happens, we'll go live. Let's see what happens around this Tell deal. Still think he'll end up in London, but I think if we'd got rid of Rashford and Casemiro, we'd have had a much better chance. Maybe we still do. Alex James says, biggest and best community in the world. Yeah, bigger than Christianity. Mate, it's a football channel. Grow the fuck up. What are you talking about? some right weirdos, isn't there? Anyway, talking about the biggest and best community, don't forget, tickets are now out for public consumption. This show will sell out, so get your tickets quickly. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. Dublin in March. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. 10 years of the United Stand. Speak to you all a little bit later. Take care.